Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be trying out some new pro audio gear. I guess it's not new. It is used. New to me. It is a Yorkville PX-1700. I've never used any Yorkville gear before, so this is going to be something a little bit new to me. This is the second one. I picked up the first one and it actually had the channel A was bad on it. As soon as you plugged a speaker into it, the clip light lit up and wouldn't go off and the channel wouldn't work. So everything appears to be okay. As soon as I plug in channel A, clip light stays on. I went out and grabbed another one. Unfortunately, I'm sure this is going to be quite the beast. It's got some pretty crazy power ratings, but we'll get to that later. First, let's check this out. So on the front of this guy, nothing too complicated to go through. Pretty standard power switch, which is on for some reason. A separate power light for channel A and B, signal light, clip limiter light, and protect light. So they've got one for each channel, which is kind of nice. And then of course your level adjustments. And then, like most pro audio amps, you're venting right to the front to the rear instead of the top, like most home audio stuff. I just wanted to add, you guys, this is probably the quietest pro amp I have ever heard. You can barely hear any fan noise at all. Listen. I can feel the air. I can't hear a thing. Quiet as can be. Very nice. It's got these two nice handles here. It's kind of handy. Easier to move around than your rack mount, two rack mount spacing on it. So we'll take a look at the back of the unit. One thing I don't really like about, well, one of two things, I guess. It is a fixed power cord, so you can't unplug it, which is kind of a pain when you're moving this stuff around all the time. It's handy to be able to unplug it and then just carry the unit itself around, but not too big of a deal. We've got a circuit breaker reset back here. Your binding posts, which is nice, and then it shows. So this amp is bridgeable, so you would use your A positive and B positive to bridge the amp, and then you've got your speak on output connectors here, and channel A is used for bridge mode. So that's the other thing I really don't like. It does not have 1/4 inch outputs. It's kind of nice to have those as well, but these will work just fine. And then over here we're just giving you information on your speak on pin configuration for depending on what you're doing. Limiter switch on off, and then your mode switch for your stereo, mono, and bridge settings. And then XLR inputs for channel A, B, and then your 1/4 inch TS inputs as well. So nothing too crazy on the back either. It appears, I don't know, it's internally fan. I don't see the fan. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but that's okay. So yeah, nice and simple unit. She's beefy. Okay, let's move on to power ratings. RMS output. 400 watts at 8 ohms, 600 watts at 4 ohms, 850 watts at 2 ohms, and that is with both channels driven. Moving on to dynamically or burst ratings, 600 watts at 8 ohms, 1000 watts at 4 ohms, and 850 at 2 ohms. So there's obviously not much left in the power supply in this amp, to get much more than that, and that's with both channels driven. Now, moving on to bridge power ratings, I was only able to find one, and that was 1700 watts, both RMS and dynamically. I'm going to assume that that's at 4 ohms, but I don't know, who knows. And then doing some math, I'm assuming it's probably 1200 watts at 8 ohms bridged. Okay, I got the PX-1700 put into my my home-built stereo cabinet here. I am going to get some paint on it eventually. I haven't even finished filling in all the holes and stuff yet, but I'm going to get that done eventually. Okay, so on the back, we already went through some of this. Now, I'm going to be using the XLR inputs, and that's going to be coming in off of my Harman Kardon. It's a home theater receiver. I'm going to be using that as a preamp. So I'm going to first use these on my bass bins. I also picked up some new cables as well. So these are a speak on the one end, and then it goes to the 1/4 inch on the other end. All right, bridged output for the speak on to use just the single channel A speak on for bridge mode. So, because I got the new speak on cable, we're gonna into channel A. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run in off the subwoofer output off of my Harman Kardon AVR 240. Come on. There we go. Needed these 215Ps. I tell you, some of the loudest Irwin Vegas I've heard. Not always the best, but the loudest. The 215Ps will be run off of my Adcom. And what's gonna happen? All right, that's better than the first one. All right, we're all hooked up, ready to go. Yamaha 18-inch bass bins on the Yorkville PX-1700 and the Irwin Vega 215Ps on the Adcom GFA 555. The bins are bridged to 4 ohms for a maximum output. That amplifier will do 1700 watts, so it says. Let's see how it sounds. So it actually started. We got some vibration going here. I'm gonna have to set this up better. Started vibrating my speaker off of it. Man, those things were moving. That's awesome. That's probably the best I've heard those sound yet. So there's some power in that thing. And of course, the beefy Adcom just does one heck of a job. And pretty much anything I ask that thing to do. Probably my most favorite piece of audio equipment, not gonna lie. I'm going to see how it runs a full range speaker. I'll hook up to my 15-inch monitors here and see what that does. Okay, we're gonna swap some things around here now. So, first things first, I'm going to plug in the other XLR cable into the back, and I'll pull off the subwoofer output, and we will go, what do I got? That's to the right, yeah. And now that's the nice thing about this receiver, full 7.1 pre-outputs. So that gives me the ability to run multiple amplifiers at once and control everything with one unit, which is very handy. So what I'm doing is I'm actually plugging in right now to the surround sound pre-outs, but I do have the receiver in full all stereo mode, so I can run that. So I'm not gonna be running the Adcom. I'm not gonna be running the bass bins. We're just gonna run the monitors and see how those do just on their own with this guy. Like so. These are kind of hard to tell sometimes. The negative has got just a grayish kind of color on it for the negative, and then the positive is a little bit red, but when you kind of just looking at it, sometimes you can't always tell. Although they are nice. I like the way those attached to the speakers. There's actually 2 set screws in there that clamp down on the wires, so you can just yank on them pretty good and they don't come flying off like some other ones I have. Anyways, so then we're gonna switch to full stereo, keep the limiter on, and we should be ready to rock. Well, that was pretty good. I know it's kind of hard to tell sound through a recording when you guys are watching, but that's kind of, they were moving pretty good. They were getting worked. Yeah, there's a little bit of heat from the coil there. I think these things, and I don't even know, I think these are rated around 200 watts, I've been told. So my first thoughts on this amplifier, I feel it did a lot better on the bass bins than it did with the monitors. I still feel my Adcom GFA 555 did a lot better job at running these 215Ps, just sounded better. But man, they sure moved those bass bins. It sounded really good. That's bass you feel, not just here. So overall, I think it's a pretty good amplifier, and if you guys got some bass bins you want to run off these, there's lots of power on reserve for that. I feel there's better options for amplifiers for if you guys are running any of your Serwin Vegas, whether there be a pro audio style like my 215Ps or D9s, VS150, any of your big models. I feel like you're better off with a Crown, QSC. I feel did a little better job than that Yorkville, but it's not a bad amplifier. I like it. I might keep it around for a little bit, we'll see. But I'm definitely going to be playing around with them, and they will definitely be hooked up to these 18s here. So that's going to do it for today's video. Nothing too serious, it's a little bit of playing around. Like to do, that's the first time I've actually heard it, because the first one, I did listen to it a little bit, but the channel A was not working, so I was only able to run one speaker at a time, and it's really hard to tell. So until next time, big or small, save them all.